Shalom, aloha. We're here for the final quarter activation. I'm just setting you up there. Perfecto. Very good. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the connection there, but hopefully it'll be all right. We usually don't have an issue there. I'm just going to go ahead and get my cards set up here while everybody tunes in. This is the final quarter activation, meaning we're at the final quarter of this moon cycle, what I like to call the in-between moon or the in-between week, because we're closing up one cycle and preparing for the next with the new moon next week. So this part is all about integrating what we saw last week, what was illuminated this past week by the full moon, okay? So last activation was all about how can we fully receive this message. This activation is all about now how can we integrate it and move forward. Compost for the flowers. Let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from the lovely Sedona, Arizona. I'm just going to go ahead and start shuffling while y'all tune in. And again, let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. And feel free to share this message while we're live. Maybe you have a friend who needs to hear an inspiring message right now. Or maybe you have a friend or family member who could further activate this message with us. Somebody who's supercharged and doing really well right now, who, if you invite them into the portal, can again help us activate this message further. Feel free to share with a favorite group on Facebook while we're live. Get them in while we're live. And then for those who are not on Facebook, I will be loading this video to YouTube and Instagram, Rebecca Magic, as usual. So you can always share at the end with someone who's not on Facebook. Cool, we have New Zealand in the house. We have West Virginia in the house. Sweden in the house. And remember, the deck is the collective, and each card is a different part of that collective. You can also see it as the brain. Each card is a different neural pathway. You could see the deck as your whole self, and each card is a different part of yourself. So when you shuffle the deck, you're waking up all those parts of self. You're touching them, you're saying hello to all those parts, activating them and bringing them here into the present moment. Same thing with the Hebrew cards. I know a lot of you love this deck. It's a deck that I made by hand, and yes, I am working on getting them published so that y'all can actually have a copy yourself. I know you've been asking for years, and that'll be an exciting day when I can complete that project. So again, they work the same way as the tarot cards. Each one represents a different aspect of self or a different archetypal concept. So we're just shuffling them to say hello and wake up each part to bring them into the present moment with us here now. So quiet in my home. Okay, thank you, archetypes, faces of the one, in advance for this message that's about to come through. Thank you, thank me, thank we, thank one. And starting with the tarot, we're going to ask first, what is the focus for this week ahead? And again, the final quarter moon is actually 2 days from now. I'm just doing this now because I'm going to be out of town and I want to keep up with the live flow since I just came back to doing the lives after a few months of transcribing. So we're just keeping with the flow here. Okay, I'm going to have this message a little bit early so that you can actually prepare this time and be ready for the final quarter moon. Okay, for the final quarter moon, what is the focus? Also known as the challenge and gift. This card, this archetype, will show us what we need to focus on for the week ahead in closing up one cycle and beginning another. Okay. That's the challenge and gift. What can we envision to prepare us for what's ahead? And with the Hebrew cards, as usual, we'll pull an ally of the week, and I feel it right away. It's that one. Beginning with the challenge and gift, we have the King of Cups, who came up in the last activation as well. So we're seeing a connection immediately between last week's moon for the full moon and this week. Okay, so this is the current challenge and gift, also known as the focus. King of Cups. So in regard to this being the final quarter, you can interpret it like this. Before we begin the new moon, it's really important to take action on our heart. Maybe you've been holding back from saying something or doing something, making a change that needs to be made. Maybe you've been too uncomfortable to make that change. Maybe you've been stubborn. For one reason or another, you've been a little stuck, okay? And even if you're on the other end of the spectrum where you feel like, oh, I haven't been stuck, I've actually been doing it, it's your chance to take this to the next level, to take your actions of the heart, or your words of the heart to the next level. Okay, it's like we gotta like squeeze it out. I see like a toothpaste bottle, and we have to like squeeze the love out before the new moon so that we can set the stage for that new moon, so we don't have to wait. It's about doing it here and now, trusting that when we do this, we create an easier transition into that new cycle, but not just into that new cycle, into the next moment. When we offer our love fully in the present moment, it is the best transition for the next moment. Does that make sense? It's like sets the stage for the next moment as best as possible. It's like rush to the love, rush to get the love out. There's no reason we should be hesitating. There's no reason we should be holding it in. Squeeze it out. Squeeze it out. Whatever's been holding you back, whatever has been limiting you from sharing directly from your heart, get that out of the way. Let it go. Okay, so you see, it's not just about this final quarter and into the new moon. We're learning something here that is going to be timelessly applicable, that when we apply this lesson in any moment, it's going to be helpful. We're just further solidifying this message. It's already in our hearts, right? Because all things are within. But we're just further solidifying this lesson, this truth within our hearts right now, so that all moments moving forward, we remember to do this, meaning to put our heart into all that we think, all that we say, and all that we do. Okay, so the challenge right now is acting on your heart now, not waiting, not hesitating, doing whatever we have to do to take action from that space right now. And even if you're like, I don't even know where to begin, how do I do that? Very simple. You can simply start by reaching out to maybe somebody you haven't in a long time and sending love, reaching out to somebody you know needs love right now. Reaching out to your own parents, a very powerful thing to do, especially if there's been turbulence. But even if there hasn't been, just reach out. Do as much as you can from your heart right here and now, and trust that it's going to set you up as best as possible for this new moon to come, which is just representing a new cycle, a new page, a new chapter, a new moment. Okay, I'm also seeing like this is a part of the challenge for all of us. We're so in the how can I prepare stage right now, right? Because the season has just changed wherever you are in the world, either spring or fall. And so we've been like, how can we prepare for that? How can we prepare for that? But we are receiving the message here now that the best way to prepare for the next moment, regardless of what season is to come or what part of the cycle we're coming up to next, in this moment and in any moment, the best way to prepare for the next is to act from the heart. So whatever we've been doing to prepare, right? I just see like a squirrel like storing nuts. Whatever we've been doing to prepare for the next part of the cycle, whatever that is, may we remember that what really matters is that we're acting from the heart, that we're taking action upon the heart. And if our preparations don't reflect that, it's futile. It's a waste of time because we really are only here to move from that space. So always we should be moving from that space, no matter what part of the cycle we're in. The best way we can set ourselves up for the next thing, the next moment, is by being like the King of Cups and acting from our hearts, right? Because the king, it's the king and not the queen, because the king acts on the queen. We act on the heart. We don't just sit with that until we drown in our emotions. We feel, that's the Queen of Cups, and then we act appropriately on those feelings for the highest good of all as one, for the highest good of self, which includes the individual and the collective. So again, review what your preparations have been. How are you preparing for the new moon to come? How are you preparing for tomorrow? How are you preparing for the new job, the new relationship you just entered, the new project, the new season, whatever it is, the trip you're going on tomorrow? And are you preparing with love? Are you acting with love? Because that brings up all kinds of questions when you reflect on that. You start to ask, where am I really going? Like, for example, if I'm going on a trip, why am I going there? Is it an act of the heart, for the one heart? Why am I entering this new job? Is it for the one heart? What are my intentions? And then the reflection goes deep when you ask that question. So again, the challenge right now is about how are we acting on the heart? In whatever it is we're preparing for, the next moment, whatever that looks like, because again, it's not about the material circumstances. It's not about the physical details of reality. It's about making the connection between those details and the underlying energy, those details and the underlying intention. Is my heart in it? How can I make everything I'm doing in my preparations for tomorrow or for the next moment be an act from the heart for the one heart? Okay, and why are we doing this? What's a little glimpse into the future? Let's connect these. Page of Swords. Cool, so we have a different suit. Always there's a connection. Always there's a connection, even when it seems like, oh, two different suits, you know, this is the king and this is the page. It's like, there's always a connection. So with the Page of Swords, it looks like this. We're getting our intentions right and making sure that all of our actions are from the heart in whatever it is we're preparing for. Because what's inevitably going to come, inevitably, we always will face new challenges. We'll find ourselves in situations we've never been in before. That's life, right? Like, we're always stepping into new situations. We can't help that. Life is always changing. Even if you go into the same job every single day, there's always new energy. We're always shifting. Our environment's always shifting. Life moves. Life changes. So it's inevitable, right? We're going to end up in what the Page of Swords represents is a fresh challenge where we might not really know what's going on. We might be inexperienced in the situation. But remember what we just said a moment ago, and here's the clear connection between these cards. Remember what we said is that if you are preparing to act from the heart, if you are focusing your energies mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually on acting from the heart, if you are setting all of your energy in motion to act from the heart, to be in your heart and act from that space, then whatever new challenge you're going to face, whatever it is, regardless of the material circumstances or what it looks like on the outside, you will be prepared. You will have set yourself up for success no matter what. Even if in the moment it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing, you will have that idea to fall back on. You will have that confidence to fall back on, that I've done my absolute best because I've been in my heart. And all my preparations have reflected this idea that I have to be in my heart, stay in my heart, and act from this space. And if you live there, and if you feel from there, you move from there, you act from there, you think from there, you think with your heart, then what you're doing is You're uniting your soul in your body. You're doing your absolute best that you could possibly do when you move from that space. So you have nothing to fear, no matter what challenges ahead. And they're inevitable. Again, they're inevitable. Even if you feel like, oh, I'm entirely unprepared for this, I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, at least I live in my heart. Whew, thank goodness I've been living in my heart. Thank goodness I've been acting from my heart. So then I can trust that whatever I'm stepping into, I manifested this for a reason. Of course, everything's for a reason, but it just gives you that confidence. Oh, well, I've just been living in that space. I've been doing my best. I've been acting from my heart. So when I find myself in the inevitable new challenge, I'm going to know that, hey, I've been doing my best. This is a reflection of all that work that I've done. I'm prepared. My nervous system is at ease, because when you're in your heart, that's what happens, right? I remember that I have all the answers within me, because when you live in your heart and you're tuned into your heart, that's where the truth and the light and the laws of balance live. And so if I'm really living from my heart and moving from that space, I'm moving from a space of absolute truth and balance. And I can rest assured that I'm going to make it through any challenge, even if on the surface it looks like I have no idea what I've gotten myself into. I can trust that it's a lesson for me to stay in that space, move from that space, and know that by that foundation alone, I can make it through. Because again, all answers are within. All answers are at the center of your heart, our one heart. So if I know the truth that lies within there, and think about it, you can reference the Hermetic laws or the laws of energy, universal law, universal truth. They're all the 10 Commandments, they're all the Eightfold Path. There's so many. They're all reflections of the one truth that lives within. And so if you tap into these codes of truth, they're actually fundamental, basic, universal, then you absolutely will make it through any challenge. And I want to remind you guys that within each card is all the other cards hidden, right? This is like a Kabbalistic understanding, right? Like if you're into the Sephirot, within each Sephirah are all the other Sephirot. This is just how life is. So within the King of Cups, you can clearly see the Hierophant, right? Because this in the entire suit of cups, really, you can clearly see the Hierophant, because the suit of cups is about water, emotions, and the heart. And the Hierophant is about the teacher within the heart, the inner guru. Okay? And that Hierophant is all about the heart's compass, the truth that lives in there. That's the teacher, the guru, right? And so if we tap into that inner teacher, right? The king is the one who acts on that. So if we tap into that inner teacher, that heart's compass, we will know which way to go in whatever new challenge we face. And while everything is new, nothing is, right? Like energy is always changing. However, it's recycled. Nothing is ever born or dies. It's the same energy just being recreated, recycled, just shifting. And so with those laws, being in tune with those laws and our heart's compass, no matter what the challenge seems to be, we have the codes, we have the keys and the answers to know which way to go. Even if our rational mind fizzles out, explodes and says, I have no idea what I'm doing. If we can close our eyes and tune back into that space, depending on the work you do this week to really connect there, then you will feel which way to go. Because cups, the heart, is all about feeling. It's beyond the rational, logical mind. So if you can really feel into that space and get comfortable in that space, right? And that's what the King of Cups helps you to do. Because the more you exercise that position of being dropped into your heart, tuned into your heart, the more you exercise that, then the better you'll be at it, right? It's like exercising any muscle, right? So that's what the King of Cups is trying to tell us right now. Be in your heart and exercise that feeling. Express that as much as possible so that you become so comfortable living from that space that whenever a challenge comes up, which they inevitably do, you will feel which way to go. Your rational mind can take a backseat and your heart can finally lead. Your intuition can finally guide you. And the voice of your ego will quiet down. And no matter how much your ego tries to say, oh, we don't want to do that because we're afraid to be vulnerable, or we don't want to say that kind thing because I don't want to look weak, whatever the comments might be from the ego, they'll be so powerless. Because your intuition, which is the voice of that heart's compass, will be so locked in, so loud and clear, that you will be able to override the ego and you will go in the direction of your heart, no doubt. So you see, this is the message of this final quarter moon. But remember that the archetypes bring timeless messages. These messages are universally, multidimensionally applicable. So again, we're receiving the opportunity to lock in this lesson right now in a very real way in these bodies on this earth at this time in space. However, it's a lesson that applies always. So the work that you do right now to receive these codes, integrate them and act on them, activate them within you and express this light that we're, taking in. The more you make something of this week, the more you'll lock this in for eternity. It's when you cultivate light, it's a light that lasts forever. It's true light. It's the eternal light. This lesson goes with you forever, beyond this body, beyond this life. Okay, so I just want to remind you guys, for those of you who are new to the activation portal, or for those of you who've been coming for years every single week, these messages apply right now because by the laws of the universe, we are picking these exact cards at this exact time so that we can anchor in these particular codes that are coming in right now, right? It's like the cosmos and nature are set up for us to have this specific lesson right now to lock it in, not just to see the results right now, but to see the results forever. So this message is now, but the light that we make of it is forever. Okay, meaning these messages apply every moment and beyond this lifetime, beyond the grave. All right. And the ally of the week is the Kuf. Okay, and this is the 19th letter of the alphabet. And it is connected to Arcanum 19, the sun. And the hieroglyphic symbol that's connected to this letter is the sun that's either setting or rising. We don't know. It's the sun on the horizon. It doesn't matter whether it's rising or setting. Okay, and this is all about your inner sun shining forth the light that you have cultivated in the most recent times, in the most recent days, right? So it's like, what are the qualities of the rays of the light that you're shining right now? How far will these rays of light reach? We're trying to activate that light within us that's eternal. We're trying to express the light within us that reaches beyond this lifetime, many lifetimes, for eternity. It's a light that goes on forever. That's the quality of light we want to shine, not just some superficial glow, right? Speaking of, it's always right on top of my head. No. My real light gonna shine from within. So that's what the Kuf reminds us of, is the light of our soul, and how the quality of the work that we do right now has to be so pristine, has to come from that place of innocence and purity, from that deepest place within our heart of hearts, right? Our actions have to come all the way from that space. Now, for example, the King of Cups, who isn't fully developed within us, is going to look like, I'm doing acts because I secretly selfishly want to be admired, or I want this back for myself. That's the only reason I'm doing it. But the real, truly innocent, pure, pristine, righteously activated King of Cups looks like, I'm doing this because I know it's what I must do for I and I. It's what I must do for you and I, for we, for the one. Because I'm not foolish, because I know that being selfish is being futile, is futility. Acting for the self alone, hello, first rule of magic, acting for the self alone, you'll be directly cut off from the all-powerful source that otherwise would flow through you if you were doing for the one. if you were acting for the one. Okay, so the real King of Cups says, this is my duty. I'm going to act from not just my heart, from our one heart, from that space. Because there is no greater reward than the one that comes with acting for the one, for the collective. You can want all you want, but you're never going to be fulfilled until you act from that heart of hearts where we all meet as one. And the King of Cups knows that. So the cuff reminds us, and you can Google it, you can make it your phone background, you can print it out and put it on your altar, whatever you want to do. It has a special frequency that will help activate that remembrance of the light within, the true, pure, pristine, eternal light within, so that you will be sure not to fall into the egoic side of the King of Cups, not to fall into that lesser King of Cups, but to really activate your remembrance of our light so that you can move from that space, take action from that space, knowing that that light is the light of the heart. And we must act from that space if we want to fill our world, fill your personal world and our collective world with this light. And think about it, when you do that, you don't even have to anticipate the inevitable challenges. You don't even have to think about them. Sure, there will always be challenges. It's how we grow. But you won't even be focused on that. You'll be so focused on just acting from your heart and shining that light that you will expect miracles. You will expect that light to fill your heart, to fill your body, to fill your home, your community, and our world. You'll be so engulfed in that process and in that vision that you won't have time to worry about any challenge, big or small, because you'll know that, hey, I'm doing the best I can do anyway. I'm doing the absolute best that I can do. And it's so much simpler than what we may have previously thought were the proper preparations or steps to take. Oh, I have to do this, this, and that to avoid this challenge. Or I have to, for example, on a day-to-day basis, many of us have these anxious thoughts of, oh, well, I better not say this or do that because I don't want to upset this person or make this person think that about me. All those anxious thoughts, all those worries fade away because you just focus on acting from your heart. And again, it's not enough to just tune in to the light that's there or remember it. It's about action. And Kabbalah really highlights this point. Call it Kabbalah, call it whatever you want. The point must be highlighted wherever you're coming from, whatever culture you're in. The truth is so obvious that we must act. It's not just about tuning in, it's about then what you're going to do with that remembrance. Okay, so we're going to put it into action, and that's what the kings are about. They're the masters of each suit because they are representing that part of us that reaches a peak in a lesson of a particular suit, right? And if we're in the cups, it's a lesson within the heart. The king represents mastery of that arena, that element, water, the heart, emotions. And why is the king the master? Because the king acts on it, doesn't just sit there on the throne, but commands from that space, acts from that space. And that's why it's a king, the masculine. It's speaking to our active nature. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, it's a man, because it's metaphoric. It's speaking to our masculine and active nature. Okay, so we're here to tune in to that light that's within the heart, let it out, express it, act on it, remembering that light is our truest self. It's who we really are. It's our highest and eternal self. And we're here to let that light shine. And if we can focus on that and stay active in that mission, we don't have to have all these worries, anxious thoughts, anticipating the challenges, big or small. We'll just be prepared for them. Simply put, we'll just be prepared for whatever's to come. All of the experiences ahead, all of the challenges ahead, whatever they bring, again, big or small, won't matter because we'll feel so confident coming from that space that we've been really sinking into, really practicing by putting into motion that light that will say, you know what? I did my absolute best. And times get hard and things will happen, but you'll have the strength, you'll have the confidence, the trust, and the faith to make it through. And that's what really matters. Amazing. Amazing. So I'm thinking of it in terms of the new moon representing the future, right? It's next week. So whatever the future brings, I'll be more prepared for it with each and every act of kindness that I perform this week. With every thought of kindness, with every word of kindness, and with every action of kindness that we perform, that we conjure right now, will determine how gracefully, how strongly, how confidently we're going to make it through whatever's ahead. And the future isn't written anyway, so why sit here and worry and project all these anxious thoughts? Oh, I might have this challenge or that, but what if this, but what, we don't know. So all we can really do is tune into that place and act, and get as comfortable as possible in thinking, speaking, and acting from that space. So that's what I plan to do this week. I'm sinking into this lesson. And as I consciously and intentionally conjure up each thought of kindness, speak each word of kindness, or perform each act of kindness, I'm going to reinforce this idea that I know that all of these thoughts, words, and actions are being matched by the universe right now because of this reading, because of this incoming frequency from the cosmos and from nature. I am more supported than ever right now to make this happen. And again, my efforts will be matched tremendously right now. The results will be profound. That's what I'm going to tell myself. This is how you do the work. This is how you enhance your thoughts, words, and acts of kindness, of love, of the heart, is by knowing they're going to be matched right now in a tremendous way. That truly, by the time of the new moon, it's just reflecting, that newness is just reflecting a newness inside of us and within all things. And by that time of the new moon, new moment, all of my efforts will be reflected in my environment. I'll be able to see in my reflection everywhere I go, with everyone I meet, the work that I've done this week. And it doesn't end there. You keep going, right? We apply this lesson always from here on out. It's something that's timelessly applicable. However, we're particularly focusing on this lesson right now and trusting that with the new moon, whatever's to come, whatever challenges, big or small, if I stay alert, I stay present, I'm no doubt going to see the reflection of the work that I'm doing right now, this week. And you too, us together, alongside each other, right? So that's the other part. Next week, stay alert, stay present, and observe the challenges as they come, big or small. Maybe there's a big one. You know, someone or yourself is fired from a job, or, you know, like the bigger things, or like there's a death, like a catastrophe, or the small things even, like, I'm feeling tired today, I'm feeling exhausted, or somebody lied to me, or, you know, my kid really frustrated me, right? Frustration, anger, all those feelings, you know, they're human. And I invite you to stay present and observe what challenges come up. And in those moments where you're feeling the challenge, to say, here is my moment to prove to myself that I did the work. Or here's my moment to really reflect on how I did not do the work, and how, gosh, if I did the work, meaning tuned into my heart and really stayed acting from that space, I might feel a little better about myself right now. I might not feel as frustrated. I might have, if I had done the work, I might have been able to let this go easier. I might have been able to not take this as personally or let it hurt me as much. I might have had more strength and courage and faith to get through this with more ease. But why? Why wait for that? Why sit around and allow that to happen if you know you have the chance to act right now on your heart, so that when the challenges come, you'll blast through them because you're going to know you've done your best. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel full of purpose, fulfilled, having done your best. So that whatever challenge comes up, at least you have that. You're a righteous person. You're a good person. You're a walking heart. I mean, really, it's as simple as that. You can sleep well at night. If you can feel good about honoring your conscience, if you can feel good about being a virtuous person, then whatever challenges lie ahead, big or small, you'll still be able to rest at night. You'll be able to say, well, I did my best. Right? It's as simple as that. So I appreciate you guys being here and contributing your energies to this activation. Please share this message with those who are in need of an inspirational message right now, or those who could help activate it further. Share it with your favorite groups. Again, it's going to be on YouTube and Instagram for those who are not in Facebook land. Remember, we do these every week, so please come back and let's do it again together for the new moon next week. Let's ride these waves together. I do have 2 private groups. One of them is called the Archetypal Alliance here on Facebook, where you could feel free to share how this activation is affecting you, share any insights, how it's related to your personal life or what you intend to do. Maybe you want to share some tips or advice with our collective. And then the other group is called Shabbat Crew, Shabbat Crew, where we share about Kabbalah and the current Torah story every week. Thank you for those of you who've been inquiring about my books, Royal Path 1 and 2, on the Major Arcanum and the Minor Arcanum of the Tarot. So happy to ship them directly to you from my hands to yours with really fun bookmarks in them. And thank you to everybody who's been making donations. You know who you are. You're amazing. I'm so grateful for that reciprocation. It means a lot to me. So many thanks to you from my heart to yours. And the links for donation will be posted on my wall after this, so check it out. And if you have any questions or you want to book a one-on-one reading, I am available for that. So just go ahead and email me at info@royalpathtarot.com or send me a private message. I think that covers it. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. And let's just soak it in. Make the most of this experience and this message that we have been given tonight or today, wherever you are in the world. I see you next week. Shalom.